Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we embark on a crucial exploration of a topic that impacts not just our nation but the global economy, the United States national debt. It's a complex issue that deserves our attention and understanding. So let's delve into the intricacies of this financial challenge. But first, if you enjoy this video and this kind of content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. To begin, let's establish a clear definition. The national debt is the total amount of money the U.S. government owes to its creditors. In essence, it's our nation's financial obligation, akin to a colossal credit card bill. The national debt is a combination of money borrowed through various financial instruments, including treasury bonds, bills, and notes. These instruments are sold to individuals, institutions, and foreign governments, creating a debt obligation for the U.S. government. The concept of a national debt is not unique to the United States. Governments worldwide use borrowing to finance various projects and initiatives. However, the size and implications of the U.S. national debt make it a topic of global significance. Understanding how we arrived at our current situation necessitates a historical perspective. The national debt has a storied history, shaped by moments of conflict and economic turbulence. By examining this history, we gain insight into the debt's evolution. The national debt of the United States dates back to its early days. Following the American Revolutionary War, the newly formed federal government faced a considerable financial burden. To fund the war effort and establish the new nation, the U.S. government issued debt instruments. Over the years, the national debt fluctuated, driven by significant events such as wars and economic crises. During the Civil War, for example, the debt increased significantly to finance the conflict. In the aftermath of World War I and World War II, the debt reached new heights as the government borrowed to fund the war efforts and reconstruction. Comprehending the growth of the national debt demands an examination of its underlying causes. It's the result of multifaceted factors, including government expenditures, tax policies, and economic downturns. Let's dissect these components. 1. Government spending. A primary driver of the national debt is government spending. When government expenditures exceed revenue from taxes and other sources, it creates a budget deficit. To cover this deficit, the government borrows money by issuing treasury securities. 2. Tax policies. Tax policies also play a significant role. Changes in tax rates and policies can impact the government's revenue. Tax cuts, for instance, may reduce income to the government, leading to increased borrowing to cover budget shortfalls. 3. Economic downturns. Economic recessions and downturns can exacerbate the national debt. During economic crises, government revenues often decline as businesses and individuals earn less income. At the same time, there may be increased demands for government assistance programs, further straining the budget. 4. Interest on debt. Another factor is the interest paid on the existing national debt. As the debt grows, so does the interest obligation. When interest rates rise, it can increase the cost of servicing the debt. Next, we must confront the consequences of an expanding national debt. Its repercussions ripple through our economy, affect future generations, and influence governmental policies. Understanding these impacts underscores the importance of addressing this challenge. 1. Economic impact. A substantial national debt can lead to higher interest payments. These payments divert resources away from other critical government programs, potentially hindering economic growth and infrastructure development. 2. Future generations. The national debt incurred today will need to be paid off by future generations. An excessively high debt burden can limit their economic opportunities and increase the risk of fiscal crises down the road. 3. Government policies. High levels of debt may constrain the government's ability to respond to future crises effectively. In times of economic downturns or emergencies, a heavily indebted government may have limited fiscal flexibility. 4. Investor confidence. International investors and creditors monitor a nation's debt levels closely. If they perceive a nation's debt as unsustainable, it can lead to higher borrowing costs and decreased investor confidence. 5. Inflation and currency devaluation. Excessive money printing to cover debt obligations can lead to inflation and devaluation of the national currency, which can harm the purchasing power of citizens. With this understanding, we turn our attention to potential strategies for managing and reducing the national debt. Fiscal and monetary policies come into play, and we'll explore various solutions and their implications. 1. Fiscal policy. Governments can employ fiscal policy measures to address the national debt. This includes controlling government spending, increasing taxes, or implementing a combination of both to achieve a balanced budget or a budget surplus. 2. Monetary policy. Central banks can influence the national debt through monetary policy. Adjusting interest rates can impact the cost of servicing the debt. Lowering interest rates can reduce the government's interest payments. 3. Economic growth. Encouraging economic growth can also help manage the national debt. A growing economy generates more tax revenue, which can be used to pay down debt. 4. Debt restructuring. In some cases, governments may consider debt restructuring or refinancing to manage their obligations. This can involve extending the maturity of existing debt or negotiating with creditors to lower interest rates. 5. Debt reduction plan. plans, governments may implement specific plans to reduce the national debt over time. These plans often involve a combination of spending cuts and revenue increases, and they aim to put the nation on a sustainable fiscal path. Given the ever-changing nature of finances, it's imperative to stay informed about the present state of the national debt. Current data provides us with a clear picture of our financial standing and insights into recent developments. As of October of 2023, the United States national debt stands at approximately $33,481,465,588,133. This figure represents the total outstanding debt obligations of the federal government. It's important to note that this number fluctuates regularly as the government borrows and repays debt. Recent developments such as the economic impact of the housing market, recession fears, the war in Ukraine, and other events have had significant implications for the national debt. The government has taken measures to address the challenges posed by this, including increased spending and potential changes to tax policies. These actions can influence the trajectory of the national debt in the coming years. As we conclude our in-depth examination of the United States national debt, I encourage you to reflect on the significance of this issue. Your comments and engagement are highly valued, so please share your thoughts below. If you found this video informative, kindly consider giving it a like. In closing, the United States national debt is a topic of paramount importance. It impacts our nation's economic well-being, future generations, and the choices our government can make. Staying informed about fiscal policies and the management of the debt is essential for responsible citizenship. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the complexities of the national debt. To stay informed about critical topics like this, subscribe to the channel and like the video. See you next time.